time. Don't worry about it. You're gonna do great. You're gonna do great. Stevie's just saying how she's worried because she's never done one of these.
Yeah, I've never done one, so.
But here we are, our another low budget edition.
It's gonna be great.
Of What's Up Weekly with our one and only Stevie Mansfield.
Woo!
Yay! The recipient of our 2019 Servanthood Award. Also, just general good human being. I know a lot of us have human being envy, with human being goals when Stevie's around. So thanks for making us inspiring us to be better people.
You
and
guys
genuinely
inspire
more
me
loving.
to be better all the time.
Love it. Okay, so we're here. You know why we're here? We're here because we want to talk about Stevie's trip to Cambodia. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready. I'm sleepy. It is a long travel time, 15-hour time difference, and I haven't talked much about it yet, so it's emotional, but I'm excited.
Yay!
Yeah.
This is gonna be your first time process.
Except for with my husband, obviously, but yeah.
When did you land? When did you get home?
I landed Saturday at 12 o'clock and then drove home from LA. So.
And you told us that you literally time traveled forward 30 hours or behind.
Yeah.
I can't remember what you said.
I went from Thailand to Japan, 13-hour layover in Japan,
Oh my god.
and then home. It was like 38 hours of travel or something.
A 13-hour layover in Japan. What did
Yes.
you do during the 13-hour layover?
We went to Tokyo actually and
nice.
explored Tokyo, but I was wearing sandals because Cambodia is like 100 degrees, and in Japan it was raining and 44 degrees.
Oh.
So I was freezing. I
Little
had to
different.
buy a jacket.
Yes.
I had to put socks on under my sandal.
Aww.
It
Okay.
was funny, but yeah.
So tell us about the organization that you work with.
Okay.
How did you find them? And what inspired you to work with them?
Okay. So I ended up working with two. The first one I worked with is called 𝚑𝚑𝚊𝚝. They are an organization based in Australia. And I first heard about them at an event called 𝚆𝚑𝚊𝚝, which is through Palm Beach schools. All the students and educators get together for like a 3-day education event, kind of like a hair show. And 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚡 was there talking about their mission and their trips. So I reached out to the owner of the organization and decided to get involved. Everything about it was just what I wanted to be a part of. As much as I love being a hairstylist, sometimes I feel like the beauty industry is so hard to be a part of just because it's so self-centered and so self-driven. But I love it, and I love to serve other people, and that's all what 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚡 is literally about. So it was a perfect match. And then the second organization I worked with was in Thailand. It's called Sheer Love International. And they're actually a faith-based program as well as a full beauty school program. And I heard about them just through social media, and they are based in Corona, California.
So you went from one program to another,
Yes,
back to back.
back to back. 1 week with 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚡, which was the primary focus of my trip and the trip I was fundraising for, and then I got a hold of Sheer Love, and while I was out in Asia, I decided to go to Thailand after Cambodia, and I volunteered there for 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm wondering what direction I want to go with this conversation. I want to know, actually, we'll save that for last. I was going to say, if somebody was interested in contacting or being a part of one of these organizations or the trips, how would they do that? But let's talk about your experience first.
Okay.
And so, brief us a little bit too, though. You've done some other world traveling as well, as far as you've done work with Breakfast Club, and that's all like service-based organizations, right? Serving the marginalized,
Yes.
yeah.
So the Breakfast Club is a nonprofit in Ethiopia that I worked with, and the primary focus was feeding kids on the streets, but they also worked a lot with the kids' parents to help them get an income and get jobs and not have to earn income in unsafe ways.
Yeah. Okay. And so, and does, and 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑, tell me about how that relates also to kind of what Breakfast Club does as well, right?
Yeah. So 𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑, what it does is it works with other organizations in low-income or poverty places. So basically they find organizations that are helping rehabilitate victims of human trafficking and sex trafficking. And when they're in those programs, they're going through counseling and English training and all types of education to help them get back on their feet. Hair Aid comes in and provides a 1-week hair cutting training to those people. That way, in addition to getting counseling and life building skills, they also can learn how to cut hair. So Hair Aid works with several different organizations. So while I was in Cambodia, there were several different groups of people throughout the whole area receiving education, all with different backgrounds, different stories.
Nice. And you obviously made some relationships with people out there, like some connections. Do you have anything that stands out in your mind that you want to talk about? Anybody in particular, or that you feel especially impacted you?
It's really hard because they all have such beautiful stories. And
sorry, I'm so fishy.
No,
I just ripped my hand. Hold on, sorry. I literally just made the whole bigger.
Oh gosh.
Okay, I was trying to get comfortable.
That's okay.
Because I'm not sure if I should look at you.
I know, I look at you and then I look
or if I should look at the camera. I'm not.
I don't know either.
Just let us be
It's like
awkward.
when you talk to a mirror
Don't judge
instead of
us.
a person.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, everybody was really amazing. I always have a really big connection with the kids. So for me, we all went to different locations. Some of us went into the city and worked with girls in safe houses and worked with girls that were already working in a salon but needed more skills. My primary location was working in a village where the girls were going into the city to work in brothels and bars and things like that. So the goal was to get them to be able to not do that and be able to grow up and start cutting hair without having to work in that type of industry. So we were like out of the city, totally in where these people live. So we got to get really, really close and build good connections with them. And the biggest thing is most of them didn't even speak English.
So most of them didn't even speak English?
Yes.
Okay.
And with that, just the connection you get with them is incredible. I didn't realize how close I would get with these girls within a matter of 5 days. So they're all really incredible, and I feel like I built really strong relationships with all of them. But one of the girls, she was a mom, and she went through the haircutting program and had to bring her daughter with her every day. Her little girl's name was Bin, and she wanted to be able to cut hair so she could work safely to be able to provide an income for her daughter and not have to leave her to be able to go to brothels and things like that, and to be able to set that example for her daughter, for her to grow up and know she doesn't have to do those things, and she can love and value herself and make an income safely. And it was really awesome because the last day she was able to cut her daughter's hair, and we did all the kids in the village, all of their haircuts, and she, by the end of the day, had people coming to get their haircut in line, and we ran out of time. So she, like, right away was like, oh, I'm gonna have my certificate tomorrow, so make an appointment with me tomorrow and you can come and get your hair cut. So literally, like, the day after we left, she was able to start cutting hair and charging for it and making an income. Some of them don't charge for it. Some of them just trade services, like for vegetables and things like that. They'll trade skills and barter, but she was really heavy on my heart and someone that I was really excited because literally the next day she started cutting hair. Like, it took me 1,600 hours and years of practice to like feel confident cutting hair, and within like 5 days she changed
She's like,
her
I'm
life.
gonna do it.
Yeah. So all of them, but she really like is someone that I've been praying for every single day.
Nice. Yay. Okay. So can you give me a little bit of the logistics? Like, could you tell us what like kind of financial investment you had to make up front to get there, the supplies needed? What I'm thinking is for people who are planning on doing something like this in the future.
Yeah. And then I'm also doing, in about 2 weeks, I'm hosting an event at my house to talk about trafficking around the world and how you can get involved.
Oh, let's talk about that too. It totally relates.
Yeah, I don't have a set date yet, but for people that want to go on trips. So
yeah.
But so basically,
we can do a flyby right now.
Yeah, super quick. Through Hair Aid, you go on their website and you can read all about it, but you register on there and you apply, and they send you back like your approval for the program. And to sign up, it's $1,300. So that's the biggest like first investment. You have to pay a $500 deposit, and then you make monthly payments up until your scheduled trip. And they have all different locations, not just Cambodia. They go to Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, all over. But that first amount is $1,300, and that includes your hotel and your transportation from your hotel to the project. So for example, we were staying in 𝚑𝚑𝚡, and we drove about 45 minutes to an hour every day to the villages. and those are in little tuk-tuk cars. So the Harry provides the transportation for you, and they also pick you up from the airport. What's not included in that $1,300 is your flight. So depending on where you're going, flights can vary from $600 to $1,800 depending on the time of year and things like that. And then your food and anything else you get while you're on the trip. I also had to get my medical traveling insurance, which was about $70 for the week. And then I needed a visa, which depending on where you're going varies, but for Cambodia it was $36, so not bad. And then for me, my luggage fees were pretty big, which was nice as you guys all helped with that, which was amazing. But the tools you bring is totally up to you. They give you a list of what's needed and what's really gonna benefit the students, so you could bring as much as you can. You don't have to bring anything. For me, on the flight that I chose, I could only do 2 checked bags. So my 2 checked suitcases were full of scissors that Hanzo Shears donated, and then full of the tools that you guys donated and that Adri got from Joico. And those both were way over the limit, so they were about like $275.
Oh my God.
But then my items went into a carry-on, and my second small flight, you couldn't carry on a suitcase. It had to be something that fit under the seat, so I lived out of a backpack for 2 weeks. So
nice.
That was fun. But yeah, financially, it's definitely doable. Something I've really grown into or struggled with, I'd say, with doing missions work and traveling is asking for help. For a while I didn't feel like it was good to ask people, and I was really nervous, but I've noticed that people want to be a part of it even if they can't go, because that's how I am. If I can't go, I want to help other people go, and sometimes people aren't called to travel and go overseas, so their way of helping is donating, and that's something that's really helped me grow and made me learn that it's okay to ask for help. And just posting on social media, people are so willing to help, and you could totally do it. One of the things I did that really helped was a bonfire campaign, which is t-shirts, tote bags, whatever you want, you design it, and then every shirt that they sell through the website, you get a kickback from, which really helped. And then I did a spaghetti fundraising dinner. Lauren and Haley came. It was super fun.
Yes.
But I did donations, and people came and had dinner, and then I had a little gift shop, and I raised a really good amount of money for that. And then I just saved pictures and little things from my trip, and then when I get back, I usually send everybody thank you cards with pictures, and for my bigger donors, I brought them things back from Cambodia. So
that's amazing, Stevie. That's really cool. What specifically is on your heart that you want to share about your trip? What do you want people to know?
Oh, so much.
Anything that stands out to you?
So many things. I'll start to cry, but I want you all to do it. I love each of you guys so much, and I feel like it will change you and change your heart, and it's hard coming back to your house and to your shower and to this beautiful salon that I just have the opportunity to work at every day, but you should do it. And my goal and mission in life is to help you guys all do it. But it's life-changing. The things that these girls go through just to learn how to cut hair, when we get it so easily, is just it's crazy, and it breaks your heart, but it helps you grow as a person. And even if you don't cut hair, people came on this trip, spouses and family members, just to help. And the fact that we have a gift, I feel like we need to use it, and I would be willing to answer any questions you guys have. It's safe, it's easy. I didn't get the coronavirus, I'm fine. Everybody's freaking out, but it is really amazing, and getting to know these girls' stories and connect with each of them individually is amazing, so you should do it.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And if you can't do it, if that's just something that's not in your wheelhouse, I know for me, having 3 small kids and running a business, taking a week or 2 weeks off, well, I just took 2 weeks off because I did have the coronavirus, and I'm an American citizen, I didn't leave the country. It almost seems monumental. I know that there are some of us who are born to go and called to go, and there are some of us that are called to stay and to support, and coming up with creative ways for us to support those that are called to go is almost as rewarding, I feel like, than if I was even there,
100%,
So, together, if we all do a little bit, it can really mean a lot.
Yes.
And we can all
totally.
find our place and how we fit, in
Yeah.
serving the marginalized or the forgotten about or the oppressed around the world, and not even just locally, but everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
So,
And then when it comes to donating too, most of the girls that we worked with were coming out of sex trafficking, but there's so many different stories, and that's another thing that's really, really huge on my heart. Nothing to do with hair, but just helping those get out of that life that don't want to be in that life. But Sure Love also does, because they're an entire program, they do outreach. So they basically go out into the red light districts, which I got to see and be a part of, and it's real. Like what you see photos of really happens. But basically they go out and do outreach and just meet these women and meet these men and let them know what the program is all about, and they build relationships with them. And sometimes it takes them 1 year to 2 years to even feel comfortable and safe enough to let these people in and to leave and go to school. But part of that outreach, what they use donations for, is in order to talk to these people, they have to pay for them. So they have to pay the bar owners, they have to pay their traffickers per night or per hour to even talk to them. Yeah. So you can pay like as little as, you can see on their website on Sure Love International, but as little as $12 to get a girl out of a brothel. You can pay a couple $100s to get her out for a night and to take them to like a hotel room, but they just take them out to be able to talk to them, to buy them dinner, to build relationships with them. So even if it's not sponsoring their education or sponsoring someone to go, you can help give them freedom just for one night, which is amazing.
Yeah. Wow, Stevie.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold it in too.
It's really emotional though, because you think there is sexual exploitation that happens even in Riverside County.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it happens under our noses. And I'm gonna tell you guys a story. So story time, and then we'll wrap it up. But it was probably within the first month I was doing hair as a licensed cosmetologist. I was working in Riverside at a salon. And this is also, admittedly, one of my biggest regrets in life. So I'm going to share this with you. So I took a guest, and she looked like she was maybe 12, maybe 13 at most, to get her hair cut. And I did not greet the guest. I don't know who she came in with, but as I'm cutting her hair, I noticed nobody was in the salon. I said, "Who are you here with?" And she pointed to a gentleman who was sitting outside the salon with another little girl. And they were of different ethnicities. Not that I'm against mixed families, but I was just like, "Who is that guy, to you?" And she goes, "Oh, that's my friend's dad." And I'm like, "Oh, and how, it's like, and he's paying to get hair done?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's cool. He's just, this and that." So here I am, unaware, uneducated, just having this ping feeling in my gut, like, this doesn't seem right, but those were stereotypical signs of predatory action, of a predator, grooming their prey, basically. And we're in the wash house, which is a closed off wash house, doors, its own separate room, it's dim light setting. And everything in my spirit, my gut was saying, I need to ask her if she is in a bad situation. I need to ask her if she needs me to call the cops or the authorities. I need to ask her if she needs help, if she feels safe, like what's going on. And I didn't do it. And I didn't do it because I didn't know. I felt stupid. I was like unsure. I didn't want to piss off my salon owner, who I was working on commission for. I didn't want to, I don't know this gentleman who was sitting outside. And so having said that, if I rewinded that conversation, we could have easily called the authorities. Yeah. But then again, I didn't, and I didn't know hotline numbers, I had no resources. Yeah. So I also felt very alone. Mm-hmm. So having said that, I want us to be cognitively and acutely aware of the fact that we have the privilege of being with the general public, and we get to take people as they are. And we get to expose ourselves to a lot of really intimate things that are happening in people's lives and their details of their lives. And not only do we have a gift that we can share that can be a gateway for somebody to grow out of an oppressive situation, but we also have the access to information that maybe the correct authorities don't have access to.
Yeah.
And so having said that, it's something that those signs of trafficking are something that I want to be made us all aware of, knowing what the appropriate actions and steps are, just being in the salon here in Marietta and listening to conversations, even though that we're not mandated reporters, it's something that we should be taking action on when we're aware of those signs. So, and then beyond that, not only serving our local community and our home and the people here, but then taking that same purpose and that drive to protect others, to support them, to empower them with skill sets, with words of life and love and freedom, but making that actionable everywhere. So
I'm like shaking and my heart's racing because I've actually been like the last couple weeks praying and like really figuring out how I can be used not only like overseas but here. And I have a goal of someday having like a nonprofit to educate salons all over on what you're talking about. That's what my goal is, to be able to travel to salons and teach them like what the protocol is and who they can call, because people don't know, and you're not the only one that's happened to. Like, I've heard of those things happening here in Temecula, and so I'm like, like I can't believe you said that, and I'm like on fire right now. But so I'm excited that you want to do that here, because that's a long-term goal of mine.
It's a big deal. So but human is human, and it doesn't matter if they live in Cambodia, they live in Thailand, they live in Temecula, you or me, like we are all created the same. So thank you so much for sharing your heart and your passion, Stevie. And I know that we're gonna have so many more questions for you.
Yeah, of course.
And we're just excited to have you as one of the leaders in our community here, and constantly inspiring us to love others and to put others first. Do I look at you in the camera? I don't know. I don't want to look at you.
I feel like I'm really pink right now. I'm sunburned, but I'm also like emotional.
This is a really cool conversation, Stevie. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. I feel like I didn't know how much to share, so I'll break it down like minute by minute for those of you guys that want to know about it.
Or you can leave questions in the comments.
Yes.
If you don't see Stevie in passing too. I just knew though that there was going to be 30 people who all wanted to have the same conversation with her. So at least this gives you a snapshot of what it was like. And like I said, if you don't see her, leave questions. I'm sure we all want to know. And how do we continue this movement and support, and how do we get on board? So we love you guys.
Love you.
Love you, Beauty Artisan and Co. and family. Yay. And I don't have anything cheeky to say right now, so I'm just gonna hang up, and we'll catch you later on the Menjay.
Bye.